You know, there is this romantic image of moving to Ho Chi Minh City. You picture the street food, the energy, the motorbikes, the endless summer. It feels like an adventure waiting to happen. But then, you land, you check out of your hotel, and you hit the first real wall of expat life, finding a place to live.
That wall is more like a labyrinth. It's funny you mention the romance, because the rental market in Saigon can honestly feel like a cold shower if you aren't prepared. It's dynamic, sure, but it's also incredibly opaque for a first-timer.
Opaque is a polite way to put it. I've heard horror stories that sound like straight-up scams, but also just stories of people losing their deposits or ending up in a construction zone. Why is it so tricky specifically for newcomers?
Because a newcomer is walking in blind to the unwritten rules. In many Western markets, the price is the price, and the contract is standard. In HCMC, real estate is often the Wild West. The first trap is the bait and switch. You see a stunning apartment, online modern furniture, great light, incredibly cheap. You message the agent, you show up, and suddenly that unit just got rented an hour ago.
Ah, the classic move. But they just happen to have another unit in the same building, right?
Exactly. And that unit is usually older, darker, and more expensive. The online listing was just a ghost to get your phone number. It's a volume game for agents. But let's say you actually find a nice place. The next hurdle is the foreigner price.
I've always wondered about this. Is it a myth, or is there genuinely a two-tier pricing system?
It is absolutely real, though it's rarely written down. Landlords often assume foreigners have higher budgets and, more importantly, don't know the market rate. If a local would pay 10 million dong, the asking price for you might be 15 or 18. It's not malice, necessarily. It's just market opportunism.
So how does a newbie navigate that? You can't exactly negotiate if you don't know the baseline.
You have to do the legwork. Join the expat Facebook groups, sure, but take them with a grain of salt. The best tactic? Ask the agent to show you the unfurnished price, even if you want furniture. It strips away the markup for the cheap sofa they threw in and reveals the true value of the square footage. And never, ever take the first price offered. Negotiating isn't rude here. It's expected. If you accept the first offer, you've signaled that you are an easy target for everything else that follows.
That's a great psychological point. It sets the tone for the landlord relationship. Speaking of which, let's talk about the contract. I feel like this is where people get burned the most.
The contract is where the devil hides, and usually the devil is in the electricity bill. This is the most common gotcha in HCMC. The state rate for electricity is tiered, but generally quite low. However, many landlords, especially in serviced apartments, will lock you into a fixed rate per kilowatt hour that is 2 or 3 times the government rate.
Wait, so they are reselling the electricity to you for a profit?
Precisely. You might think your rent is cheap, but if you're running the AC in April, which is the hottest month, that markup can add hundreds of dollars to your monthly expenses. You need to verify the meter yourself and ask specifically, is this state rate or landlord rate?
That is such a subtle detail that could cost a fortune over a year. What about the environment itself? You can inspect the contract, you can inspect the furniture, but you can't inspect the neighborhood in 20 minutes.
That's the invisible intruder noise. Ho Chi Minh City is loud. That's part of its charm, until it's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Construction laws are, let's say, loosely enforced. You might view an apartment at 10 a.m. when everyone is at work, and it's peaceful, but at 7 p.m., the karaoke bar downstairs opens up, or the vacant lot next door starts pile driving at dawn.
So the advice is to stalk your own potential house?
Absolutely. Go back at night. Go back on a Sunday morning. Stand outside the building and listen. If you are sensitive to noise, avoid being near major construction sites, even if they look paused. They won't stay paused. And look at the windows. Single glazing in a noisy district is a sentence to insomnia.
It sounds like you're describing a battlefield rather than a house hunt. But looking deeper, isn't this also about the concept of home? When you move to a new country, your apartment is your only sanctuary. If that space is compromised by noise or a hostile landlord, your whole experience of Vietnam sours.
That is the profound cost. It's not just losing a deposit, it's losing your peace of mind. When you are overcharged or tricked, it creates a cynicism toward the local culture. You start thinking everyone is out to get you, which isn't true. Most people are wonderful, but a bad rental experience puts a filter of negativity over your eyes.
That's a heavy thought. It's like the apartment is the lens through which you view the whole country. So, if we boil this down for someone landing at Tan Son Nhat Airport tomorrow, what is the mindset they need to adopt?
Slow down. That's the mindset. Don't book a long-term lease from overseas. Book an Airbnb for 2 weeks, maybe a month. Get boots on the ground. Feel the traffic. Smell the air. Meet the landlord face to face. A lease in Vietnam is a relationship, not just a transaction. If your gut says the landlord is dismissive or the agent is pushing too hard, walk away. There is always another apartment.
There is always another apartment. That's a comforting mantra. It seems the key is to strip away the urgency. The city moves fast, but your decision shouldn't.
Exactly. The city will wait for you. But once you sign that paper and hand over 2 months of deposit, you are locked in. Make sure the cage you choose has the door open.
A fantastic place to wrap up. It's a reminder that in a city as vibrant and chaotic as Saigon, your best asset isn't your budget, it's your patience.
And your skepticism? Keep a healthy dose of that in your pocket, too.